2:08 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Well, I was fortunate to get my hands on a copy of the brand new New Jersey Human Resources Manual, and it was furnished to me courtesy of our good friends at the New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce, who we have done a lot of things with over the years. And it was written by a very well-respected group here in New Jersey, the law firm of Cozen, who are based out of Cherry Hill. And to give you some information about this book and why, if you're involved in hiring people, firing people, paying people, you've got to get your hands on this book just so that you know what's good and what's not so good. So let me welcome in my special guest from the law firm of Cozen, Debra Friedman, who joins us now on New Jersey Today. Hi, Ms. Friedman. Good afternoon. You're on New Jersey Today. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Thank you for arranging for us to get a copy of the New Jersey Human Resources Manual, and I'm going to give it to our HR director coming up in just a little bit. But what are some of the information that you can find in this Human Resources Manual? Just give me, if you could, a brief overview of it.
Certainly. The manual is a very practical resource to answer many everyday HR issues, such as policies your organization should put in its employee handbook, how to successfully navigate the hiring process with giving advice on sensitive issues such as background checks, medical exams, drug and alcohol testing, and questions that employers shouldn't ask applicants during the interview process. It also deals with compliance with wage and hour laws, evaluating and disciplining employees, how to conduct workplace investigations, and many other HR issues that are faced every day by small and large businesses alike.
Now, Debra, I bet you there have been so many people that have gotten themselves in hot water over the years simply because they didn't know what the different laws were here in New Jersey and how certain situations were supposed to be dealt with. So who should buy this book? I mean, obviously someone who deals with, the human resources issues at a particular workplace, HR personnel, obviously. Who else should get their hands on this book?
I would recommend this book definitely to small business owners and executives, the people who wear multiple hats every day and are dealing with HR issues from every angle. I would also recommend it to finance personnel, particularly to the extent that they deal with issues of classifying employees and paying employees, because we address a lot of issues on proper classifications of employees versus independent contractors, how and when to pay your employees, overtime issues, and things like that. I'd also recommend it to in-house lawyers who practice in New Jersey. It's a great resource to give you some quick advice and direct you where you can get additional information on the laws that regulate employment law in New Jersey.
We're speaking with Debra Friedman from the law firm of Cozen, who are the authors of the New Jersey Human Resources Manual. And we're finding out some information about the book, who should have it, and how important it is to get your hands on this book and make sure that you, as an employer or as an HR person at a particular workplace, make sure your ducks are in a row, as they say, because you want to make sure that you're on top of all the latest things that are going on. Also, Debra, why buy this book? Is there any specific advantage to having this particular book?
Yes, it's a very easy-to-use book. It's written in plain English. You don't need to be a lawyer or an HR specialist to understand it. It offers specific tips on best practices and compliance. For instance, the manual contains a compliance checklist, and it helps employers learn where their organizations can make changes to reduce risk exposure and to fully comply with all employment laws. It also contains a great chart listing specific record-keeping requirements for employment records and covers a host of additional issues such as safety, workplace investigations, benefits, unemployment compensation, workers' compensation.
Now, I bet you this book, if somebody had something similar, let's say even from 3 or 4 years ago, I think things are changing so quickly that there's probably content from even just a few years ago that's probably, you know what, it's either wrong or it's been changed or it's been updated. So an important thing, I would think, is to get yourself a current copy of this book so that you're right up to date with everything that's going on. And Debra, what are some of the common mistakes? This manual is designed to help keep HR people and employers out of trouble. Based on what you've seen, what are some of the most common HR mistakes that people make?
One common mistake employers make is misclassifying employees as independent contractors instead of employees. And this manual has an entire chapter just on independent contractors. And it explains how independent contractors are treated under the tax laws and the different factors that the IRS looks at to determine if a worker is an independent contractor or an employee. The manual also discusses how to determine if workers should be classified as employees or independent contractors for purposes of employment benefits and under workers' compensation and unemployment compensation laws.
That's very important. I'm glad you mentioned that whole independent contractor thing, because there are such glaring differences between someone who is an employee and someone who is hired under the auspicion of independent contractor. It's two totally different things, and this book sort of helps you determine the difference between the two, right?
Absolutely.
Just amazing stuff. Debra Friedman, our guest here on New Jersey Today. And before we tell people, Debbie, how they can get this book, because I want everybody in New Jersey that should have this book, I want to make sure they have the information and be able to get their hands on it. Give me a couple of quick points. Give me 3 or so hot areas for employers this year that this book is really going to pay for itself in no time.
One hot area continues to be social media and its use by employees and employers. As we all know, social media is everywhere. It's a tempting tool for employers to use to check out applicants and employees. However, employers need to be very thoughtful in how and when they use social media to check out applicants and employees, as it creates benefits and potential pitfalls. For instance, employers must be careful if they review social media at the hiring stage. And while it's not unlawful for employers to learn about an applicant's race, gender, religion, or other factors during the hiring process, employers can't use this information to make employment decisions. So the tricky part is that once an employer knows the information, it may increase the risk of making a discriminatory employment decision, or at least create the appearance of discrimination playing a role. So if employers choose to use social media, they should be consistent, and they should not selectively use it for some applicants and not others. And the manual also gives additional tips on do's and don'ts for the use of social media, because it's a very hot and tricky issue. Another one is veteran reemployment and accommodation issues. With more troops returning from Afghanistan and Iraq, employers need to be mindful of their legal obligations to integrate newly returned veterans into the workforce. And this book contains a lot of information on the laws that protect our military members when they're away from their jobs and when they return, and the types of accommodations that we should and must make to reintegrate them into the workforce. And that will continue to be a hot issue. Another new issue, a legal development, is the passing of the New Jersey Trade Secret Act. This is a new law for 2012 in New Jersey, and it governs the protection of trade secrets, which generally refers to information that's not generally known to the public, and for which an employer derives some economic value. And the employer, to have a trade secret, has to take steps to keep information confidential in order for it to be considered a trade secret. And this new law defines trade secrets, and it provides remedies if they get misappropriated by your employees or customers for some reason. And this book gives you some tips on how to deal with this new law and some best practices for keeping employer information confidential.
And this New Jersey Trade Secret Act, you said this is something that's relatively recent, right?
Yes.
And it's designed to help employers, to protect employees. What was the purpose behind that Trade Secret Act?
It's to protect employers' confidential information, which is their core business asset in some cases. And if you have employees who leave the company and move on, you don't want them taking your confidential business information and sharing it with competitors to your own economic disadvantage. And so this law is a statute that sets forth remedies that an employer has available if they're in that unfortunate situation where a former employee, for instance, or current employee tries to take this confidential business information that rises to the level of trade secrets and use it to hurt the employer.
Absolutely. 2:18 on New Jersey today on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. We're speaking with Debra Friedman from the law firm of Cozen O'Connor from Cherry Hill, the authors of the New Jersey Human Resources Manual. And the million-dollar question, Debra, how does someone go about now purchasing a copy of the very latest 2012 edition of the New Jersey Human Resources Manual? How does someone get a copy of it?
Well, as you mentioned, Cozen O'Connor worked in conjunction with the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce on this manual, and you can purchase the manual by calling the New Jersey Chamber. Their phone number is 866-439-2227. You can also purchase the manual directly from the New Jersey Chamber's website, which can be found at njchamber.com. And when you're on the website, you'll see a link for publications. And what's great is if you purchase the manual, it comes with a free downloadable version as well. And the cost of the manual is $99, which is an excellent value. It's over 400 pages and contains 26 chapters of information. And if your business is a member of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce, you get a $20 discount.
Nice. So if you belong to the New Jersey Chamber, you can save a little bit of money on this book. I like that.
Absolutely.
And it covers so many different things, recruiting and hiring, background checks, employee handbooks, wages and hours, stuff that maybe people might think they know, but maybe they don't. And this is a good way to sort of protect yourself from some legal action, right, Debbie?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the time, and this book is going to be very helpful. I'm going to give it to our HR person. And again, can we have that phone number one more time in case folks want to purchase a copy?
Certainly. The number at the New Jersey Chamber is 866-439-2227.
Excellent job. Debra Friedman from the law firm of Cozen O'Connor. Thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate this. And let's hope folks that take the step and do the right thing and get their hands on this brand new HR manual that I think everybody needs to have. So thanks for your time this afternoon, okay?
My pleasure. Thank you.